Last weekend, Warzone fans settled in for part one of the World Series of Warzone qualifiers. Everyone was looking forward to a fierce and fair competition to decide who advances to the finals. Instead, the whole thing was derailed by widespread accusations of VPNing, stream sniping, and friends feeding kills to each other. Let's untangle this whole mess. VPNs, feeding kills, and stream sniping. We really do have the holy trinity in today's video. If you enjoy hearing about that kind of stuff when it happens, then make sure you're subscribed to theScore Esports. And if you enjoyed the video at the end of it, make sure you leave us a like on your way out the door. Appreciate it. All right, before all this, it had been 9 months since the last World Series of Warzone event. So as you might expect, fans were absolutely chomping at the bit to see this event get started. Activision have laid out a $300,000 prize pool for teams competing in both Europe and North America for a total prize pool of $600,000. 40 trios are competing in the open qualifiers. Only 20 will make it through to the finals, where they then have the chance to compete with 20 invited trios to get their hands on that fat prize money. The scoring and rules for the event are as follows, and remember these because they will be important later. The scoring is based on each squad's total kills and placement in each map of play. Players get a point for every kill and additional points for teams based on each of their squad's individual placements. Then there are the multipliers. 16th to 40th place gets no multipliers, 2nd to 15th get a 1.5 multiplier to their points, and first place a whopping ×2 multiplier. The qualifiers are an open bracket. Anyone could join it, not just your usual scums and swags who get invites. On paper, this seems like a great idea. It increases the chances of upsets, dark horses, and underdog stories, and who doesn't love that? But we wouldn't be doing this video if things panned out like that, because unfortunately, if there is a way for players to manipulate a system, some often do. You see, Warzone, like a lot of games, has a matchmaking system. You're supposed to be matched up against players of equal rank and skill, including in this qualifier. But not too far into the tournament at all, accusations began flying around that some of the players were using a form of VPN abuse called geofencing. YouTuber The Tactical Brit explained just how this everything up.
What geofencing does is prevents the game client from connecting to various servers that Call of Duty has available, and in doing so prevents it from being able to use skill-based matchmaking. After about 1.5 to 1:15 seconds of matchmaking, Call of Duty automatically gives up its skill-based matchmaking protocol, allowing a player to get into a game even if they're not necessarily meant to be in that lobby.
So essentially, the game will deprioritize skill-based matchmaking after a certain amount of time just to get a game going. In this tournament, the belief was that higher skilled players were able to get into lower skilled lobbies through geofencing and just clean up the competition. And because the tournament's point system counts every kill the same, they racked up monstrous scores that they probably wouldn't have got if matchmaking was working as intended. The result was that these players were getting closer to playing in the finals against the best in the world, with scores that massively exaggerated how good they actually are. But all of this wasn't even half the problem at the tournament. There were also accusations that players were getting their friends to join an opposing team in their lobbies. Once they were in game, the friend would just die over and over again to that player, pushing them right up the leaderboard. One Reddit post shared some screenshots that show some suspiciously high scores on one side, accompanied by some unbelievably bad scores on the other. One player getting 75 kills while their opponent died 34 times. You get the picture. A comment suggested that the only realistic explanation was that the second place team was working with the first place team to feed one of their players a huge amount of kills, get the win and the multiplier that came with it. And the players being accused weren't total randoms either. One of the names in that screenshot you just saw was Mad Lions player Javix. Warzone streamer FIFA Kill pointed this out on Twitter and referred to this as shameless. He also got called out as desperate by Warzone streamer Porky99, and apparently in a later deleted reply, Javix simply said that, quote, "everyone wants a spot." The 75 kills that the boosted player got might be enough to get them into the final against some of the best players in the world, so you can kind of see the problem here. Aside from geofencing and feeding kills, a third accusation flying around was that streamers were being sniped. In this situation, streamers were stuck between a bit of a rock and a hard place. On the one hand, they obviously want to stream themselves playing one of the biggest Warzone events of the year, but a number number of streamers felt they were being targeted by players who would get into their games on opposing teams, ignore everyone else, and just hunt for that streamer. So to put it simply, a lot of Warzone fans are unhappy with how this tournament is panning out, especially because it has a knock-on effect. The invited trios are invited because they're known to be absolute demons at Warzone. There was excitement before about seeing these pros face off against hidden talents that battle their way through the qualifier. But that's going to be tarnished now, because a huge shadow will be cast over the legitimacy of the players who make it out of the qualifier. That sucks for those who don't VPN abuse or feed kills to friends and miss out on a spot because of that, but it also sucks for the ones who legitimately qualified too, because they're going to be doubted. And of course, it sucks for the viewer too. There's a good chance that the invited trios are going to absolutely mop the floor with anyone who didn't earn their spot in the finals fairly. This weekend, we've got the second part of the qualifiers for NA and EU. We've had no word from Activision so far on what they're doing to address the community's concerns here, or to be honest, even acknowledge the existence of them. There's a chance we'll see more of the same this weekend, and if the drama flares up again, we'll be sure to let you know. Check out my excessive 4-liter water bottle I got. 4 liters. I mean, you know what's crazy is you're supposed to drink this in a day. You see how it starts with 7 a.m., finishes with 9 p.m. I think I get kidney failure if I try to drink that in a day.